news. What next for India's richest man as he loses $100 billion in a week? Calmer waters for Brunswick, the world's biggest maker of pleasure boats, as it reports record earnings. I'll be joined by its chief executive. Plus, Wimbledon Commons' famous rubbish recyclers get a makeover 50 years on. Good morning, this is Ian King Live, an hour of business and economic news from the heart of the city. Well, before we get into the business news, some breaking news this morning. Sky News has spoken to the partner of the missing mother of two, Nicola Bulley. She was last seen walking her dog down a footpath by the River Wyre in St Michael's on Wyre on the morning of 27th of January. Paul Ansell was speaking publicly for the first time. This is what he told our correspondent, Fraser Maud.
I don't really have anything to say other than what the family said yesterday. My whole focus is my two girls, just staying as strong as I can for them. I'm scared that if I put any focus into anything else, it's going to take my, focus off that. So I've got to be very careful. Just hoping to goodness that anything comes out from the interview yesterday, no matter how tiny. Just say a massive thank you to the community, friends, for everything that they're doing. It's absolutely incredible. I just can't believe that we're a week on, and as yet it seems like we're no further on. It just seems absolutely impossible. Just like a dream. Just cannot get my head around any of it.
I mean, you're left sort of trying to make sense of the census, aren't you? It is just such a mystery.
Yeah, it is. There's just no... Every single scenario comes to a brick wall, every single one of them. And then all we're doing is sitting there going round and round and round, going through every scenario, and then go back to the first scenario again and do the whole thing again. And it's just all day long. That's all we're doing. That's all we're doing.
How are you coping? It must be so difficult. Like you say, your focus is on the girls, and it has to be. But yeah. It must be so difficult.
I don't know how I'm coping. I don't even want to actually think about that. Just focus. Just like I say, it's just about the girls. That's it. I'm there for them. I don't want to really elaborate on that. I don't want to take my eye off that.
It must be heartwarming to see the public response. Hundreds of people trying to help.
It's amazing. It is. Right now, it's the only thing that we can take is, that level of support is out of this world. It gives us a great amount of comfort knowing that that's going on. We don't have anything else, do we?
Well, there's hope.
We're never ever going to lose the hope. Of course we're not. But right now, it is as though she has vanished into thin air. Just insane.
Oh, Sky's Fraser Moore joins me now. Fraser, unbelievably brave of him to speak out like that.
Very much so, Ian. You could sense that he was just managing to keep a lid on his emotions, but only just. And he said the only way he's able to do that is by focusing on his two young girls. He said if he allowed himself to think too deeply, to focus too much or to talk too much about Nicola and the search for her, then he may well have not been able to keep his emotions in check. He may well have lost it altogether. It's been painful for them this whole last week, 7 days now to the day that Nicola went missing. His family were talking to Sky News yesterday saying that it's been a living nightmare, and as you can see there, Paul, Nicola's partner, very much struggling to keep his emotions in check at this very, very difficult time. The community here have been amazing. He wanted to thank the community. That's part of the reason why he wanted to talk to me this morning, because over 100 people are turning out today to hold placards at the side of the road and along the the Riverside Path where Nicola walked her dog a week ago today, in the hope that because people are creatures of habit, that the same people who are around this area a week ago today may well be in this area again today, and seeing Nicola's face may well jog their memories, may well let them bring forward that vital piece of information that the police, that the family, that Paul and his daughters are so desperately waiting for. It's an incredibly difficult time for them. They have very little to go on. Paul was saying how every scenario he goes through with the police, with his family, as to what might have happened, reaches a brick wall. This remains very much a mystery. The police, the families are hoping that someone will come forward with a vital piece of information. But at the moment, the living nightmare for the family and the investigation of the police continue, and the mystery remains unsolved.
All right, Fraser, thanks for that. We'll have more on that story with Jonathan Samuels later on this morning here on Sky News at 11 o'clock. Now, three of Silicon Valley's largest companies have posted disappointing financial results overnight, compounding fears of a slowdown in the tech sector. Recession worries have hit both corporate and consumer spending globally, leading to Apple, Alphabet and Amazon all signalling a tough recovery from the highs of 2021. Well, Apple posted a decline in quarterly revenues for the first time in 3.5 years, as sales dropped by 5% to £95 billion in the last quarter. That was around 117 billion US dollars. They were down across all product categories except iPads and services, which saw modest growth. The company missed both sales and profits targets, hampered by production issues and lower demand for its flagship iPhone. Well, Amazon, which cut 18,000 jobs at the beginning of January, defied Wall Street expectations and reported sales 121 billion pounds, a jump of 9% compared with the same period last year. But it issued a warning about the pace of growth in its critical cloud computing division. And Alphabet, the parent company of Google, reported subdued quarterly revenues as spending on digital advertising was reduced amid economic uncertainty. Revenues from Google's digital advertising business, which includes search and YouTube, dropped from £52 billion to £48 billion. Last month, Alphabet announced 12,000 workers would be made redundant globally. Well, equities in the Asia-Pacific region had a mixed session overnight, with Hong Kong and Shanghai both suffering reverses, while there were gains in Tokyo, Sydney and in Mumbai. Stocks in Europe have been largely in negative territory this morning. Only the IBEX in Madrid in positive territory right now. Talking points this morning in continental Europe include Sanofi. The French drug maker is off 3% in Paris. That's after it warned that earnings growth this year would only be moderate. Well, here in London, the FTSE 100 is just about keeping its head above water, a quarter of a percentage point higher right now on support for energy and drug heavyweights. Shell is the leading gainer in the FTSE this morning. That's on the aftermath of its results yesterday, bumper profits and the 39 billion US dollars. Meanwhile, the retailer B&M, its shares are ahead by some 2% on positive broker comment. Outside the FTSE, positive broker comment has lifted Marks & Spencer. The shares nearly 0.9% higher. But the miner Thungela Resources is down 2.75%. That's after it agreed to buy a controlling stake in the Ensham coal mine in Queensland in Australia. Meanwhile, the AIM-listed Mongolian oil company Petrometad, bit of a small investor favourite that one, I gather, shares down there 34% right now on news of a share issue. On the foreign exchange markets, it's actually pretty quiet. We get the US jobs data later on today, the big announcement of the month economics-wise. Sterling is up 0.1% right now against the US dollar. It's more or less unchanged right now against the euro. The single currency, meanwhile, is up very, very slightly against the US dollar. As for the oil price, well, that fell last night. It's on course for its second consecutive weekly reversal, though, as you can see, it's perked up a little bit this morning. A barrel of Brent crude currently changing hands at $82.48 a barrel. That's up just over a third of 1%. Well, joining me now is Simon Lapthorne, the senior equity analyst at Investec. Well, Simon, welcome to you. Let's talk about these tech earnings updates that we had overnight. I mean, they were all fairly disappointing. Which stood out for you the most?
Oh, it's hard to say because they disappointed in differing ways, and they're, of course, quite different companies, although they tend to be bracketed as big tech. They're all quite different companies with different drivers. I think the one that stood out probably for me was Apple, in that the underlying performance there perhaps wasn't really as bad as it appeared. If you take out the foreign currency effects and the supply chain constraints, actually iPhone sales would have been up in the quarter, which I think is quite a resilient performance in the circumstances. I think there have been so many moving parts over recent quarters. The strength of the dollar has had a big impact on all of these companies. We've had companies coming off pandemic-driven boosts in the prior year comparisons. You have supply chain issues, as we've seen with Apple, and you have the macro background. So a lot of moving parts that make forecasting difficult. I think the real acid test looking forward is if you hit a period of stability in foreign exchange, supply chain constraints have eased, which Apple is saying they have. The pandemic hangover, if you like, is worn off. And then you get to the nitty gritty of what impact is the macro having on these companies. Apple it's a discretionary consumer electronics vendor, ultimately, and you would expect that to be quite sensitive to the economy. Alphabet primarily sells advertising, which is economically sensitive. And Amazon is exposed to consumer spending in the biggest revenue-generating part of its business, but by no means in terms of profits. That's more corporate exposed. So they're all very much exposed to the effect of macro on the consumer. And to varying degrees, they're exposed to enterprise, to corporates. And we're seeing some weakness there as well, notably in AWS, which perhaps shouldn't come as a great surprise because that mirrors directionally, at least, what Microsoft said about softening growth in its cloud business, Azure.
Absolutely. Amazon Web Services, the big money spinner for Amazon, of course, really. I think what seems to have spooked investors in the States overnight was that Andy Jassy, the Amazon CEO, actually popped up on the earnings call, which apparently he doesn't always do.
I think Amazon, the way Amazon works, I don't think one should be surprised at anything that happens in any given quarter. They manage the business very much for the long term. Profits can be up or down, very volatile. I've seen there has been some criticism of Mr. Jassy voiced that's made it into the media. Perhaps it's partly a response to that, feeling he needed to show his face and put on a high profile. But I don't think I'd read too much into his appearance on the earnings call about what they're saying in terms of the future outlook.
Simon, what I find absolutely fascinating, I mean, you mentioned there at the start that there were individual circumstances in each of these sort of stories. And in the past, there has been a tendency to sort of lump the tech stocks together, the FANGs as they used to be referred. And actually, there are very individual stories going on here in each case. I mean, Meta, the owner of Facebook, earlier on this week, I mean, its share price has gone to the moon on the back of what they were saying.
Yeah, so to draw the contrast between Meta and the three that reported last night, I think there are two things here. One is that Meta's results were actually a little bit better than people were expecting, against relatively low expectations, and it having had an absolute shocker, frankly, last year. So that's one difference. The other difference, I think, is about what investors are looking for. Investors invest in tech for growth, but they want disciplined growth. Now, to an extent, they may forgive a lack of discipline in costs if the growth is really coming through strongly, but they won't do that forever. And if the growth starts to become more challenged, they do want to see more discipline. And Meta, and there were times in recent months and times last year, particularly in respect to Meta, where investors feared they weren't getting either. They weren't getting growth and they weren't getting discipline. Meta has clearly got the memo. And Wednesday night was all about cost discipline, focusing on the core areas, and backed up by some hard numbers about lower costs in terms of OPEX and CAPEX. And I think investors in a time of reduced growth from their tech names are going to want to see greater cost discipline. And you're seeing it starting to come through in those that reported last night, particularly in Alphabet. There was conscious commentary there about a focus on costs and getting the cost base right for the business, and a focus on the core areas. I didn't hear it particularly from Apple, who has probably not been as, I think profligate's a slightly uncharitable word, but has not built its cost base up quite so aggressively as some of the others. And Amazon obviously added loads and loads of jobs during the pandemic, but in parts of the business that don't really relate to the other tech names. So I think a focus on cost discipline is what investors are looking for. And I think Meta delivered a stronger message on that than we've seen from the others so far.
OK, Simon, we have to leave it there. Appreciate you joining me today. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Now, the stock market rout in companies controlled by one of Asia's richest men has continued today, sparking disruption for a second day in India's parliament. 7 companies controlled by Gautam Adani, who was previously Asia's richest man, have more than halved in value this week, wiping more than $100 billion from their value. It follows a series of allegations by Hindenburg Research, a US firm specialising in short selling, in other words, hoping to profit from falls in the value of a security. Well, Indian politicians are now calling for an investigation into the business empire of Mr. Adani. Our correspondent Neville Lazarus has been following this story, and he joins me now from Delhi. Neville, good to see you this morning. For those who don't know Mr. Adani, what do his businesses do? I mean, he's got a finger in just about every pie going.
Well, again, he is the infrastructure king of the country. He is the sort of poster child of New India, of this new dispensation out here in India since Mr. Modi took over from 2014 onwards. He's from ports, airports, cement, construction, media, and also green energy. He has he has got a finger in almost every pie, and over the last few years his company's footprints are all across the all across the infrastructure that this country is making. And we've seen, you mentioned 100 billion, now it's gone up to $120 billion that has been wiped out of of the group of companies. In fact, this morning, as soon as markets opened, all his companies were in red. Some had hit the lower circuit and had to stop trading.
Neville, what are the allegations that have been made by Hindenburg against Mr. Adani's businesses?
Well, the US-based firm, short seller firm, has accused Mr. Adani's companies of pulling off the biggest con in corporate history. Leverage is at the heart of their research, but they have also accused the group of companies, which shell companies in tax haven countries, of laundering money. They have accused the company also of fraudulent accounting, cooking up books, and bloating the share prices of Adani company shares. So a lot in a 100-page, 2-year investigation that this short seller firm has done on Mr. Adani's companies. There has been a rebuttal from Mr. Adani's companies in a 413-page response, calling it an attack on the company and on India itself, but it hasn't stopped the bleeding of any of the companies of Mr. Adani.
And of course, this has political ramifications because he is an associate of Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister.
That's right. I mean, we've just had the federal budget on the 1st of Feb, after which the Parliament is sitting in session. And the last 2 days it has been adjourned as opposition parties have not allowed any of the sessions to continue. They have protested in the well of the House. It's been adjourned. Mr. Adani is closely associated with Prime Minister Modi. They both come from the western state of Gujarat. Mr. Modi was the Chief Minister of Gujarat for many years, and Mr. Adani became a leading industrialist in the state. And since 2014, the stars have aligned for Mr. Adani and his companies. They have won a number of infrastructure tenders and projects all across the country, and this coincides with when Mr. Modi took over as Prime Minister in 2014. But since 2020, the company has had dizzying heights. Some of its shares of the companies that Mr. Adani owns has increased by over 4,000%. So there has been very close proximity. Mr. Modi has not shied away from showing his his allegiance or his friendship with Mr. Adani, but at the moment there's a lot of pressure, and the opposition parties are praying for Mr. Modi now.
All right, Neville, got to leave it there. Appreciate you joining me today. Thank you. Bit of breaking news to bring you. We've just learned in the last few minutes that the disgraced pop star Gary Glitter has been released from prison after serving half of his 16-year sentence for sexually abusing 3 schoolgirls. That is a report from the Press Association. We'll have more on that throughout the morning here on Sky News. And we're just going to break into the business news again just for a short while. A long-running public inquiry into patients being infected with contaminated blood is hearing its final evidence today. Some 2,500 people died after they became infected with HIV and hepatitis C through contaminated blood products in the 1970s and 1980s. If you want to follow today's evidence, you can find a live stream on the Sky News website. Some other business news stories for you now. And the telecoms and media regulator Ofcom said today that it is not minded to oppose proposals from BT's Openreach arm for a new wholesale fibre offer. The offer, called Equinox 2, is designed to encourage broadband providers, including Sky, TalkTalk and Vodafone, to move customers from slow copper connections to ultra-fast end-to-end fibre. But it has raised concerns from rivals such as Virgin Media and CityFibre that its pricing will be anti-competitive. Well, Ofcom said this morning it considered the offer was not anti-competitive, but the regulator has nonetheless launched a consultation on the pricing proposals which Openreach intends to introduce from the 1st of April. British households saw their motor insurance bills rise by 8% on average over the final 3 months of last year. That's according to the latest motor insurance premium tracker published this morning by the Association of British Insurers. The ABI said the average premium paid for private motor insurance was £470 during the period. That was up 8% on the previous quarter and up 7% on the same period in 2021. Well, the ABI said delays in finding parts, the increased cost of paint and the jump in energy prices had all added to vehicle repair costs and pushed up premiums. For 2022 as a whole, the average price paid to renew an existing policy was down 7% on 2021, but the average price paid for new cover rose by 11%. And the British bank Standard Chartered said this morning that China's main securities regulator has given it permission to set up a securities firm in mainland China. The FTSE 100 lender, well known of course for its shirt sponsorship of Liverpool Football Club, said it was the first time the China Securities Regulatory Commission had granted approval for the establishment of a securities firm wholly owned by a foreign shareholder through a greenfield investment in its offshore market. The operation will be backed with capital initially of $155 million and would carry out activities including underwriting, asset management, own account trading and brokerage activities. And in the last 45 minutes, the latest Purchasing Managers Index survey data has been published for the UK for January, and they suggest the country's services sector has had its worst month for 2 years. With anything above 50 indicating growth and anything below 50 a contraction, the reading for the services sector in January was 48.7. That was down from 49.9 in December, and it was the worst reading since January 2021, when the country was, of course, in the middle of a COVID lockdown. The composite figure, which also takes in the manufacturing sector, fell to 48.5 from 49 in December. Now, earlier this week, the European Union introduced new regulation governing clinical trials with the aim of harmonising the process across member states. The intention was to streamline the process for clinical trial applications across the EU, simplifying reporting requirements and removing duplication, sparing researchers the hassle of submitting information that is often identical to various bodies. Well, the US software company Viva Systems is a major player in helping support pharmaceutical and life science companies bring products to market. Joining me now is Richard Young. He's Vice President of Viva Systems in Europe. Richard, welcome to you. Is this going to help patients access new drugs and treatments more rapidly?
Well, first of all, Ian, thank you for inviting me today and thank you for that question. Absolutely. I think anything that simplifies the global network of us bringing trials faster and more accurately, but also in a very controlled way, is going to help bring treatments to market faster. I think the regulatory landscape, if you think about the different countries involved, is a complex one. And I think the European EU CTR move to simplify that can only be applauded.
So this is going to be potentially good news for the EU's clinical trials regime. Does it make it more competitive with, say, the United States?
I think so. And I think if you look since 2010, we've seen about a 6% reduction in the number of trials delivered and performed in Europe. That's a significant number. I think also it shines a light on the fact that Europe as a whole, and we'll perhaps come on to the UK as well, offers more than just a regulatory benefit to global research. And perhaps COVID shows no better example than when you look at the need not only for a good regulatory framework, but also for a really excellent scientific network and then an operational capability to deliver trials. And I think Europe and the UK are ideally suited to do that. So I think this new move to simplify the regulatory landscape to make things more effective and efficient without reducing the focus on quality can only expedite clinical research and bring a heightened focus to Europe and hopefully to the UK as well.
Just before we get on to the UK position, I just want to ask you specifically about the Irish Republic, because obviously that is a market leader in clinical trials. Does this harmonisation of standards across the EU in any way diminish Ireland's status?
I'm not sure I'm the perfect person to answer that question, Ian. I think, if anything, it should heighten it because part of the European clinical trial research programme is to enable one member state to take a lead approval process and then for other member states to piggyback on that to expedite it. But I shouldn't think it would have a negative, but perhaps there are better experts to answer that than I.
All right. Well, what about the UK? I mean, the UK helped create this legislation because it was born in 2014 when the UK was still in the EU. It's been overseen by the European Medicines Agency, which used to be based here in London. Where does it leave the UK now we're outside the EU?
I think it's a very good question. I mean, I think first thing is to say, I represent and support potentially the most conservative industry in the world, and for good reason. We're looking at providing medications and treatments for people who are suffering. We have to be conservative. But if you go back to the Brexit vote in 2016, that's a significant moment. It creates uncertainty. And I think from that point forward, really you've seen a fundamental shift in where clinical trials have been placed, because particularly in later phase, pharma companies are looking for certainty. They need to be able to move forward knowing the regulatory landscape will support the processing of that trial and hopefully the licensing of that treatment at the end of the day. As we've moved forward into really January 2021, when the UK formally left the European Medicines Agency, it's taken time to bring in a fresh process. And I think it's only now that we'll start to see the benefits of that. But also, we're working in an environment of macro headwinds. There's a war going on in the Ukraine. COVID, we can't deny the impact of COVID. But also, COVID brought accelerated pathways, which we can now take advantage of.
OK, Richard, I'm afraid the line has led us down rather, so we'll have to call a halt to proceedings here. But thanks very much for joining me, especially so early in the day, your time.
My pleasure, and apologies for the quality of the line. Thank you.
It's not your fault. Still to come here on Ian King Live, I'll be speaking with the Chief Executive of Brunswick Corporation. They're the world's biggest manufacturer of pleasure boats, and they've just reported record earnings. Don't go away.
Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business. the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Check me out.
He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of digging the hole of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
The coolest way to start your weekend.
Broadcasting live online. Turn it on. Turn it up.
It's your man. Bekutu, show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. Don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for home. For here, we they call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
Hi there. This is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Starr Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
The best radio show.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and The Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio UK. Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio.
Love for you runs runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade, Jesus, and that's what makes you great.
Okay, massive hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planets as well. I want to salute each and every one of you, and once again say welcome to the Friday edition of the morning show. Today is the 3rd day of February, the year 2023, and the time now is 10:40 from the House of London. I remain yours sincerely, the one and only.
This is the morning Archie.
But let me say good morning to my team this morning, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, Mr. Dan Tabiri, and my able producer, Mr. Francis Gaye, who is moving and pushing everything to make everything go on smoothly. Francis, good morning to you. And all you wonderful people who have tuned in this morning. My brother Felix all the way in Aberdeen, massive good morning to you. Captain Tete, good morning to you. Reverend Michael Esiama, good morning to you. And say good morning also to Mr. David Kluche. Dr. Morton, good morning.
Love for you runs deep.
Anthony Adedeji, massive good morning to you. Aziz, good morning. Adekunle, good morning. And then to Moyiwa, I salute you. Sir Maxwell, good morning to you. All protocol observed, my Bishop Adeshina, good morning. And Pastor Momo. And as many of you who listen to us on this platform, those of you on the YouTube, those of you on the Facebook, those of you on Twitter, or the social media platforms, the various places that you are watching us from, or listen to us from.
You are one who took my pain, took away my shame. Lord, you reign.
But it's all coming your way this morning from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, on a Friday edition of the morning show. And as we say on this platform, it is the Playing the background, great are you, Lord, once again from Edith Morrison. The love that we have for you runs deep. Let's say good morning to all at
All of you makes my heart beat.
The next week downstairs.
You make a doubt.
I bet today they will kill me, you know.
Jesus, and that's what makes you great.
Shireen, Claire, and all the team downstairs, I salute each and every one of you. Let's say good morning also to Janet, okay. GHS Housing, Limited in Ghana as well.
Same for now, yesterday.
And as many of you who listen to us, yes, Regina and Nima, massive good morning to you. See you in a bit. Yes. But do me a massive favor, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. Okay, let's crack on then.
To the end, you are God.
Now I'm going to bring you the quotes for the day. The weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel update as well. We'll move from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe, known as global trotting. Then after that, we continue with the conversation, where exactly at 11 o'clock we bring you updates from Nigeria. Well, there's lots happening there. There seems to be a blockade and a standstill in Ibadan. The major roads have been all blockaded. We're going to be telling you more about that once we have Ms. Olayomi Koiki on. And elections. Well, 22 days more. Is it going to hold or not? Ha! We all live to see. Okie dokie do.
Love for you.
Then we'll be opening the lines as well for you to join in the conversation. Depending on what the technical team says, because there's supposed to be a technical upgrade going to taking place exactly at 12 o'clock. If it does, then the program is going to finish at 12 o'clock. If it does not, then we'll take you to 12:30. Where I will have our money man also joining in. But wherever you are, once again, thank you very much for joining in. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure having you on board. And do me a massive favor once again, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones. The quote for the day says, comfort can always be found in discomfort. Comfort can always be found in discomfort. And let me take the opportunity to say good morning to Comfort. I have it in Minnesota. Comfort, did I find you in discomfort? Well, Starr Radio UK. And let's move on straight to the weather front. Well, this morning seems to be a bit milder than it's been of late. So I was talking to Francis and he was saying that, you know what, it seems milder. I said, yeah, I felt good, walking it out a bit, but I thought I was feeling hot. But this afternoon will be rather cloudy but largely dry with just the odd spot of rain or drizzle possible. Now, breaks in the cloud will allow for some brighter spells in places. Now, this evening we'll see a few clearer breaks, mixed variable clouds as the night progresses. Thicker cloud will build in from the west, remaining dry throughout as well. All coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Top temperature 13 degrees, the lowest 6 degrees. UV level low, pollution low as well. Sunset 16:53 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 07:36 hours. But tomorrow morning we'll see largely cloudy skies with little sunshine. In the afternoon, more cloud breaks will develop, allowing for some brighter spells. But later, the skies will cloud over once again. Top temperature for Saturday 11 degrees tops and the lowest 5 degrees. Come Sunday to drop about a couple of degrees there. So Sunday we'll be having a mixture of sunny spells now Sunday we'll see a colder day, but it will be dry with plenty of sunshine and just a few patches of cloud. Monday will be another dry day. So that is a bit for you there when it comes to the weather front. That's now 10:47 from the House of London, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's take a quick break and I'll bring you the travel update. Stay tuned, don't you go away. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads as we keep you navigated. I promise I'll be on the Starr Radio Travel Update that comes to every weekday from 10:40. It's now 10:47. What is your travels like this morning? Do you want to share with us our worldwide listenership? Yeah, it will benefit somebody. So let's crack on. So on the travel this morning, yes, on the underground, good service throughout London Overground, good service, DLR and London Tramley, good service there. But once we move on straight to the now to the major roads in London, what is happening on the major roads in London? Now, A10, A4, A41, Blackwall Tunnel, and Central London Red routes have got closures there. However, South Circular, A205 have got serious delays. That aside, all the others, no exceptional delays. So, but check before you leave. And also on the riverbank this morning, I can tell you assuredly good service throughout. Also, the London Cable Car has got good service there. And let's move on to the National Rail. Now, due to strike actions, these are the services that have got good service. That's what I'm going to put across. C2C, First Hull Trains, Grand Central, Lumo, Merseyrail, Transport for Wales, and West Midlands Trains. They have got good service there. So, on that note, as I would say, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today. And you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 10:51. It's time for Global Trotting. So let's move on. Let's see what is happening this morning across the globe. When it comes to Nigeria, well, let me tell you, full-scale roadblock protest from Ibadan. No movement due to fuel and naira scarcity in Nigeria. 22 days more for the elections. Well, Tinubu is saying that, well, he thinks some crookish monsters are there who are trying to chukoko his chances of becoming the next president of Nigeria. And then, gunmen on Thursday murdered Nemeka Ogboma, the chairman of the Ejima Kuru Customary Court in the Oguta local government area of Imo State. Did they murder him in the court? Gunmen kill Imo judge in court. But Yomi is going to tell you more about that. The president, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, is currently meeting with members of the Progressive Governors Forum at the council chamber of the State House, and the bandit leader show off new naira notes in viral video. Now, Mr. Baleri, flanked on both sides by 3 of his gang members armed with AK-47 rifles, was seen in possession of the new naira notes. Wow. Osibanjo says education without morals, integrity is incomplete. How I agree with him 100%. You have people who are educated, but I think they've lost few of their marbles upstairs, or the screws upstairs. Now, Sharia court remands Kano TikToker Moja Kunya in another criminal suit. Miss Kunya is also standing trial before the Upper Sharia Court over alleged breach of public peace and indecent act. I bet you by the next time you hear, they said that, oh, they sentenced her to death. But hey, whatever it is, I'll be telling you more about that once I have Miss Olayomi on. So stay tuned. Let's move on straight to some of the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Suspected Chinese spy balloon are tracked across U.S. Now, officials decided against shooting it down due to the danger of falling debris from the sizable device. So, have they just allowed it to just fly past like that? Or they are waiting when it gets into maybe the sea, then they shoot it down? What do you reckon? Wow. Is that a new way of spying? Well. 40 countries could boycott 2024 Polish minister, that is Olympic game. Poland sports minister Kamil Bonitkas says up to 40 countries could boycott the 2024 Olympics in Paris, making the games pointless. So why? I'm going to be telling you more about that. Now, Ponting's asylum accommodation plans scrapped. Now, Sefton Council and local MPs oppose converting the resort into asylum accommodation. And the Bill Gates said, I'd rather save children's lives than go to Mars. Well, They are trooping to mass. He decided, no, you know what? I don't want to go there. I'd rather save children's life. Other people, look at what he's doing for Africa. Remember back in the day where during the pandemic, there were all this conspiracy theory about what he intends doing and all sorts, also chipping people and all stuff. But well, more going to be coming your way from there. So coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Sudan and Israel agree to move forward with normalization of relationship, and Chad opens first embassy in Israel. As one of the stories making the round. Zimbabwe approves draconian law targeting civil society. More going to be coming your way from there. Egypt hosts new edition of Arab world's largest book fair amid economic crisis there as well. And Pope Francis meets thousands of youths in Kinshasa. All coming your way from Starr Radio UK. In Ghana, the DDEP is that we seem to be rushing. Professor Lord Mensah is saying, a growing list of companies ordered by GRA to pay back taxes. Oh my word, what is going on? What has happened there? There is no biometric record of Victor Kusi in our database. The National Identification Authority tells Ablakwa. So who is Victor Boateng Kusi Boateng? The military officers rescue NETCO staff locked up for disconnecting UDS from power. People are taking their laws into their own hands, and the students did that. Okay, we'll neutralize 6 armed men in Boko. That's what the Ghana Armed Forces are saying on allegation of killing 7 locals. And I couldn't attend Presec Legon because our cocoa farm got burnt. Setekwe says about his life growing up as a student. Why he didn't get his top school that he wanted to attend. Well, this one is Suhuyini, and he says DDE comment is silly, and he's saying that it's stupid as well. But more going to be coming your way from there. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. It's highly unacceptable, unfair for Puni trial to linger for 6 years. That is what Godfred Odami seemed to be saying, who is the Attorney General. But lots more going to be coming your way from there. Just stay tuned, don't touch the dial. Starr Radio UK. We're going to take a musical break, and once we come back, we'll be bringing you Mr. Olayomi Koiki with updates from Nigeria. Okay. Now, I'm stuck in, okay, which one do I bring you? Okay, let's enjoy this song from Mika Paris. And she says, Amazing Grace. Amazing Grace. Enjoy. Let me take you to church this morning. Abi?
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved.
This is Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Like me, I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Was grace that taught my heart to feel, and grace my fears relieved. How
Starr Radio UK.
Only the best music.
And since we have already come, 'twas grace that brought
This is Starr Radio UK.
thus far, and grace will lead us home. We have already come. 'Twas grace.
Well, that is Amazing Grace from Mika Paris. Like I said, I took you to church this morning. What about that? Let me hear a big amen. At least God has kept us, hasn't it? I mean, when you look at everything that is happening across the globe, the other time I met a friend of mine, a neighbor, and I know him, very strong person, a family man, and I saw him and he's been ill, and he was telling me about his diagnosis and stuff like that, and I said, oh God, you just take the grace of God. That's why that song, Amazing Grace, is very, very important. Touches my heart that it's nothing to do with you, not because you are that perfect and you do everything right, you go to the gym and you do all your exercises and all stuff, that's why you are good or you are doing well. It's just the grace of God. Or as we say, the grace of Allah. Whatever you believe in, Some say the man upstairs. Okay. It is my singular honor to now welcome my own brother and the White Lion himself in the house this morning, where he's all ready to fire on all cylinders. And let me say, Yomi, good morning.
Well, good morning to you, Archie. Good morning to our listeners and our viewers from different parts of the globe. We welcome you once again to the last day of the week, Friday. Assalamu alaikum to all our brothers and sisters that have joined us from different parts of the globe. And to our beautiful non-believer, we still say thank you for watching. But as you were taking us through that religious chorus, I was listening to one of our broadcaster team on Starr Radio UK and the sister broadcast that was at the ATM at about almost 5 o'clock in the morning, and already 73 people were waiting. There is no money yet in the ATM, but they're just waiting till probably the bank open around 9 o'clock to be loaded. But as we always say, he was also, saying greetings in the Islamic and the Muslim way, which is the only thing that probably maybe we can use to cushion the pressure that some of us are facing outside, and likewise there in the United Kingdom. I say once again, a very good morning and welcome to Starr Radio UK. It is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Yes, and if we don't say salam alaikum, if you don't need that peace, my brother, my sister, I don't think you will be going very, very far. Because with everything happening across the globe, you need the peace of God. Right then? Okay, so Mr. Olayomi, so how are you doing, Yomi?
Well, I'm doing very well. But like you always say, when we are alive, we got to be grateful. So many people slept yesterday and they couldn't wake up. So many people started a new year and they are still not here with us. But as long as we are still alive, humanity is one of the key parts that we must always make sure that, we talk about the injustice, we talk about, balancing the situation, and we also look at a lot of things happening across the globe, which is what Starr Radio UK does best, and we are grateful to be alive this morning. So thank you so much. And again to you, I could say that we are almost putting on the same outfit, but mine is more of African, yours is more of English, but almost the same color coded, but not as the Naira has been changed, because it's making a lot of frustration as we speak today back home.
Interesting. But what is happening in Ibadan at the moment now, where there is, total gridlock, or there's no movement because of what? The lack of the Naira, where you were talking about somebody queuing since dawn just to get his hands on his own money, sending out that is in the cash point waiting for it to be loaded. And then the fact that people are not getting fuel to even move their vehicles around. So what is happening in Ibadan this morning?
Well, like I said, when the signal was coming from our team on the ground this particular morning at about 5 o'clock, and it was actually showing us, the number on the queue. But before that, last night, in Ekiti State, people that were queuing on the ATM, there's not enough money in there, and probably they're still old naira. No, probably maybe some few new ones. And there was a lot of fight going on in Ekiti State about late last night, because we have a lot of reporting coming out of Nigeria in the last almost few days. But this morning, just about almost less than an hour ago right now, things are becoming gradually slowing down with the road network. The Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is a very, very busy interconnection that takes you outside Lagos into Oyo State, and then you can start that journey straight into the east, into the northern part of the country. And if that particular road is now being grounded from Ibadan, the ripple effect goes straight all the way back, to Baja, which is in Lagos State itself. Remember that this particular road network has been going on, I'm talking about the repairing of that axis for the last 20 years. It has not yet been completed. The government is working on it on portion by portion. So with the amount of traffic now building up from Iwo Road all the way further down to those axes, that means there is going to be more pressure as we speak right now. I've been looking at the video coming on the ground, and the reason why people are coming out on the road, we saw the beginning of this week where people in Edo State shut down part of the road network. We saw the same thing happening in Benin. It seems that maybe those in Lagos are more still comfortable and they are able to buy this fuel, or probably having money to the assets. But we have seen more videos now. Even one yesterday, it looks like more customers are now fighting back. The banking sector. I was also looking at one of the Igbokwe is a very representative of APC in Lagos State. He actually thought it was a joke. He went to Surulere, where he wanted to get money from the UBA. These are people that probably have a bit of money in their bank account. He could not even get something out of their account. And he was saying that if UBA, UBA, First Bank, Zenith, and GT, which is like talking about Barclays Bank not having money to dispose to some of us in UK this morning. Imagine going to the NatWest ATM and you cannot make a withdrawal. Is it wrong to have a change of currency? We saw a change of currency here in UK, if you remember, but it will probably not even be something that you will know that currency was changed, because there was enough time for us to take away that money that was owed to collect the new one. But what we are witnessing today seems that a rush for a reason. My wife was actually asking me, what is the reason behind it? And I say, most of the politicians from the PDP and the APC categorically have stacked up so much amount of money in their house to be used against the election, and it seems they didn't know what was coming from the Buhari government.
Well, somebody say they didn't know what hit them. And this around, they really didn't see what.
Once again, this is Starr Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. As we wait for the studio to come back again, let us continue with the update as we know. Nigerians, like I said, probably maybe there's going to be more changes in the next 22 days from today. The countdown have already started to the election itself. So as we have it today, it's not even up to 22 days anymore. We now have, roughly almost 23 days before the election, as it has been planned for the presidential election. And likewise, the governorship election is about almost 36 days, which is slotted for March 11, 2023. So as a lot of African countries might be wondering, why is there a lot of pressure in a country that has, the vast amount of resources, a country that has every opportunity? But the question is, the country has been going through a lot of turbulence, in the last 62 years. And since coming back into democracy in 1999, a lot of questions have been raised that whether the Constitution, which has been part of the reason why things have not really been growing in Nigeria, let's take a look at the growth in 2015 till date. We have not literally grown more than 1%. But as we continue with some of the headline, this is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. And I guess we have Archie, and I'm come back again to you in the studio. But there's also, it seems that the United Kingdom has turned down the Zaini extradition request according to the AIG. We're going to talk about that.
Okay, listeners, Star Radio UK. Yomi, can you hear me?
I cannot hear you back in the studio, Mr. Archie.
Okay. I can hear you, but it looks like you can't hear me. Okay, so call us back. Let Yomi call us back. Please, Yomi, call us back. Well, listeners, Mr. Olayomi are bringing you updates from Nigeria. He's going to be calling us back. So just bear with us as we do so. Okay. Let's see whether we can get him back on. Yes, I think I've got him back on, and let's see whether. Yes, hello, Yomi.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Good. Okay, listeners, updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi in our North London studios, and Archie here in the South studios, and we are bringing you the updates from Nigeria. Now let's talk about the another court, a court where a case has happened that in a court, a judge has been shot dead. I mean, gunmen coming into a court. At least we hold the legal fraternity or the judges and those in the act. We hold them sacred. So we think that if anything at all, if the government is doing anything when the judges speak, something that we should adhere to. But this is a Sharia, no, not a Sharia court, it's sort of a customary court thing. So what has happened there? Is it one that is not being protected by the federal government, and that's why people could go in and just shoot the judge, or what exactly happened?
Well, a lot of Nigerians wake up, and it depends on what kind of news you're going to be listening to or reading. So there's quite a lot of things going on in Nigeria, and sometimes the news are literally coming a little bit slower, and sometimes it might take a couple of days. But yes, you're quite right. These all took place in Imo State, where a court proceeding was actually going ahead when people in a motorbike drove to the premises of the court, brought out the judge and shot him dead, and then moved on. The question then is, do we have any security around the court premises to protect the dignity of the court itself, and likewise the judges? Gunmen yesterday murdered Ugboma, the chairman of Ejimakuru Customary Court. So this is not the High Court or the Supreme Court. So definitely you could tell that there might be less security as the bigger court. So this is a customary court in Oguta local government area of Imo State, where this actually took place. He was killed by the gunman who operated in a motorcycle while the proceeding of a court section was actually going on. Both the lawyers, the court staff, and the litigant, everybody fled. The killing of the juries, according to what we heard, Guta local government area, caused panic in a Jumakuru community as the natives and the residents alike all fled their homes.
It's a sad one, because the impudence coming into the court whilst it's in session, pulling him out and then shooting him. Wow. Listeners, Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. But whilst we are talking about the new currency, where we're saying that people are not getting their hands on it, people are queuing this morning. Now we have information coming through saying that, well, you know what? One of the is it a terrorist or abductors or one of whatever they are, Mr. Balin, I don't know what I should call him, Mr. Was seen flanked by both sides by 3 of his gang members, armed with AK-47, and was seen in possession of the new Naira note. So whatever the CBN and the federal government thought they were going to do to actually combat the fake Naira, I don't think it's worked in the first place. It falls flat in the face, hasn't it?
Well, if the government had a good intention, it seems that probably maybe the timing, was something that a lot of, analysts have been talking about. Is the timing literally right? And this is why the president, as at this morning at about 10 o'clock, before an hour before we came on air, is meeting with the APC governors. We are not sure what the conversation will be. We probably have to wait till Monday before we can give an update on that. But what I can confirm is, the president, Major General retired Muhammadu Buhari, is having a meeting with the governors. The new Naira crisis, Aso Rock forces inciting Nigerians against, APC. This is what, El Rufai has been saying, that, and the question is, who actually, sit, is it the finance minister, Zainab, is it the CBN governor? The president must have given the go-ahead. So definitely, who is then inciting the president against, we can't say it's opposition because, Tinubu is part of the APC. So this has become a little bit of something to talk about. But again, the governor of Kaduna State, El Rufai, again on Thursday yesterday, took a swipe at the people he called element in the presidency, whom he said were bent on inciting voters against the APC. Already, there's tension in the country. There's tension of insecurity. So a lot of people are now queuing for, let me tell you what they're queuing for now. You're queuing for fuel, you're queuing for Naira, you're queuing for your APC, your voters card, the PVC.
Yeah.
You're also queuing, for whether you'll be able to survive should you travel, a little bit of distance from your location. So there is more pressure. And the message for those that even disagree with the breakup of Nigeria now is there is not going to be any voting, because in the next 22 days, Nigeria is meant to go into one of the most, again, important time in the history of the country, which is 8 years tenure of this government, 4 years elapsed from 2019, and it seems some people, according to El Rufai, within the same party, is now doing what could bring the party against the voters. Tinubu was in Osun State, with a massive crowd there. We know that Osun State presently is going through turbulence because in the last couple of days, which was last week, we saw the turnaround from the court going against the actual governor, saying that he's not the winner, and that means it's still being contested. So, because PDP is currently the governor of Osun State, but we saw, the massive crowd again going after Tinubu in Osun State. So the question then is, are there an element of cabal? We normally talk about cabal, so it looks like we now have another cabal that is working. But from what I know, the president must give a guarantee to the change of the Naira. And this is now causing a lot of friction back in Nigeria as of today, the 3rd of February 2023.
Wow, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK.
And not only that, there's another video. We can't show that video, but there's a video out there as I speak to you where one of the leader of the terrorists is showing the brand new Naira note and already says he has up to 10 million Naira of that. A terrorist leader show off a new Naira note in the video that I have watched as well. Mr. Balari, flanked on both sides by 3 of his gang members with AK-47, was seen in the possession of the new Naira note. The notorious terrorist Kachala Balari flashed this new Naira note to demonstrate his unrestrained access to the cash. So it seems that as Nigerians are struggling to get this new Naira note, the new Naira note is already in the hands of the terrorists. This comes as Nigerians continue to suffer with the acute shortage of the cash in circulation since the central bank announced the redesign of the higher dominations of the Naira while withdrawing the old note from the economy. We don't know how this, maybe they were paid a ransom, but from what they were saying in that video, they now have more money to buy more weapons.
Now, it's interesting because you're asking yourself, how did they get it? Is it that they sent their people across to go and find it, and that is how they managed to get it? Or they maybe they have some accounts. Who knows? But well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, yesterday we did talk about the elections. We were talking about how many days more, 22 days more to the day, and as to whether the election is going to hold or not. And we did ask the question pertaining to the polls as to whether who is in the lead. However, information coming through. Let me just touch on that. The chief spokesman of the All Progressive Congress, Festus Kiyamu, has reacted to the comments made by Governor Nasser El-Rufai of Kaduna State on the polls favoring Peter Obi of the Labour Party. Now, this is somebody from the All Progressive Party who is saying that, look, the polls at the moment is favoring Peter Obi. Now, so Yomi, is it one of the cabals that El-Rufai is talking about?
Well, they have a lot of cabals within the APC, so we don't know which one is working against APC and working in the interest of the PDP. I mean, the politics in Nigeria is just something different entirely. Yes, I've just been able to get a kind of an update on the poll according to Bloomberg. Bloomberg have been able to give us a poll lead in Nigeria presidential election pledges debt revamp, and according to what we have. Again, Peter Obi, the top choice in the 4 opinion poll ahead of the next month, general election, has promised to profile the nation's debt. So Peter Obi is still ahead of the other 3 contestants that is in that poll. I mean, probably about 5 because we have Conquest, so we still have Showore that is also pushing, to say that it can bring the change that Nigeria wants.
But how realistic are polls to the election itself? Because if we say, okay, the polls he's leading, but in the past, if you look at the polling that are done, how realistic are they, plus or minus?
Well, the poll are always accurate, and they're accurate in the sense that it can be used. From the past poll that we've seen, it has always been accurate, but this time around, will the accuracy lead to the final result? Because even if Peter Obi is leading, would the APC allow such to happen? This is something that we have to look into. But again, like I said, in the past, the poll have always been a little bit more accurate.
Okay. Listeners, it is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Share the broadcast with us on your platform, the various platforms that you are on, and continue to listen to us. Okay, artist from Nigeria. Revolution comes through frustration. Nigeria is sitting on the keg of a gunpowder. This war is between Nigeria government cabals and the angry Nigerian masses. Don't make it IPOP versus Nigerian masses. Use your head. Emeka Gift Official, comment that is made there. Who is he referring to, and is he calling for a revolution of a sort?
Well, more Nigerians are coming onto the social media, and that is where they can actually get their anger. I mean, this particular person again could not get access to his money, which is bringing this conversation. And more Nigerians, will be waking up every day. I mean, some do not have the money in the first place, and those that even have access to that money are not making any headway because the money cannot be given to them. So there's just so much mixed bags, in the next couple of weeks to the election. How will this be resolved? Are they going to print more of these new Naira notes and then reduce the pressure? Remember that we are still dealing with the fuel scarcity. So it's like people that now wants to get money to buy the higher price of fuel scarcity cannot even lay their hands on that. So it's all about the mixed bag. But like I said, we would have to wait and see, how all these, will take up.
How will they all take up? It is Star Radio UK. 11:24. Let me bring one other story, and then we'll allow Yomi to bring all the rest of the story. Now, Ferry, Middle Belt Forum, Pandev, Ohaneze unite to back Peter Obi. Yomi, do you think it's giving him more momentum to move on? And what is the Yoruba nation and IPOP saying there?
Well, Ferry have stated clearly that they are not endorsing Tinubu, even though he's a Yoruba man, even though Ferry, the social cultural group, was built on the Yoruba first. But it seems that Ferry is now saying that should Peter Obi not be the next president, that will be the last chance, for us to get a Southern Christian into, the presidency. I mean, we've got the Middle Belt, which is the Jonathan within that region. but we're talking about the Southeast becoming the president. It has not happened in the past. So Afenifere continue to support, the agenda of Peter Obi becoming the next president, so that there will be equation. And the reason why Peter Obi left PDP was because Atiku was adamant to continue, to become the next candidate under the PDP. So Peter Obi did not have any more chances, and that was why he went to the Labour Party. And it seems, as much as the Labour Party was not in the surface at all, even throughout the previous election, but this time around the momentum changed, because the youth believe that the only person that can bring the change that they have been asking for, not the change of the APC or the next level, we're talking about, where things can become normal. And this is where, the momentum of Peter Obi came into in the last couple of months. But again, the question then remains is, would this momentum lead to the final result that we'll be expecting? Or, as a lot of people are also talking about, the manipulation that we saw played out in Osun State. Remember that Osun State, was won clearly by the PDP, only for the Beavers to be saying the Bimoda machine says that more people registered, accredited, and it seems that that shouldn't be so. So all these is going to play out, to so many Nigerians, but we will have to wait and see.
All right, we'll have to wait and see. Olakunle say the good afternoon from Lagos, Nigeria. Now, the current monetary policies issues in Nigeria is targeted at the southwest and east in order to trigger protests, and hereby saying there is insecurities in the country and that will make them do whatever. He said, da 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 da. Now, Yomi, that is quite an interesting one. We've not had lots of information pertaining to the issue when it comes to the new the currency, the new notes in the north. Has there?
Well, people are wondering why we are not getting problems between the why we are not getting problems around the northern part today. It seems that maybe they are using a different currency as against the one we are using in the other part of the country. We have not seen any kind of protest going on so far, apart from what we saw when the president traveled to Kano State. But we will wait and see how much time before the reaction is going to take place from the northern part. And when they react over there is completely different from the reaction at the bottom of the southwest and the southeast and the middle belt. They always overreact.
Okay. Let's see what happens. Is it a south?
So maybe there are more new currency in the north that is being circulated there, than when I was listening to Joe Igbokwe, this morning on Twitter, he was saying that if we have about almost 1.something trillion naira old note, they will expect that about 1.6 trillion new notes should be in circulation to cushion this problem.
But the central bank governor, what is he thinking about? Well. Is the DSS going to come after him for causing all this instability? Well, you want to know more? Stay tuned. Let's go back to Yomi for the rest of the stories making the rounds. Over to you, Yomi.
Thank you so much. Once again, a very good morning and welcome. Sharia court remand a Kano TikToker, Major Kunya, in another criminal suit. Ms. Kunya is also standing trial before the Upper Sharia Court over alleged breach of public peace and indecent act. According to what we know, the 24 years old has been remanded in the Coronation Center over alleged defamation. The defendant, who lives in Otoro Tishima quarters in Kano, is charged with 3 counts of defamation of character, injurious falsehood, and criminal intimidation. According to the prosecution counsel, Lamido told the court that the defendant committed the offense on January 29 on her WhatsApp, guess what, status. He alleged that on the same day, the defendant defamed the character of Aisha Najamu and Aishiru Mushuru on her WhatsApp status and shared that to the public. The prosecutor alleged that the defendant made an injurious statement against the complainant, threatening them in Hausa language. The defendant, however, pleaded not guilty. According to the prosecutor, the offense contravened the provisions of Section 319 and 393 of the Kano State Sharia law. The defendant counsel Yasir Umar Unsa made a bail application pursuant to Section 35 and 36 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended 16817 of the administration. So it looks like they are using two different court cases to run this program. One is using the Sharia while the other is trying to use the 1999 Constitution. But the presiding judge Abdullahi Aliru failed to rule on the bail application but ordered the remand of the defendant in a coronation center and adjourned the matter to February 16 for hearing. And this is why some Nigerians are saying that, why should we be running two different, laws in the country? Sharia law is acceptable in almost 16 northern part of the country today. So that means if you are committing an offense, you might not be using the normal regular law, on your case if you're living somewhere in the northern part of the country. So let's take a look at
Yomi, just a quick one. A quick one. So in the Constitution, in the Nigeria 1999 Constitution, has the Sharia law been captured in it?
Well, no. The Sharia law is just been set up on its own, because it was something that within the northern part of the country that accepted such. But that does not mean that it is in the proper amended or the 1999 Constitution.
So does that mean that if they happen to kill somebody or sentence someone to death and hang the person, someone can take them on, a legal person can take them on that they have committed murder?
Well, if you are living in the north, I'm sure this is probably not new to them. It could be something new to some of us that are not living in that particular region. But this has been a lot of the argument, as you can see in this particular case, the lawyer representing, this young girl is trying to make use of the 1999 Constitution, but it seems the prosecutor are going through, the Sharia law, and that means, the case becomes more of a Sharia law than the 1999 Constitution.
Well, she's got no chance then. Well, listen, Starr Radio. Akintunde says, Akintunde Odua says, there is more new notes in the north. Good afternoon, everyone in the house. So, well, he's just nailed it right on the head. Now, let's go to Yomi for the rest of the stories. Over to you, sir.
Well, let's quickly touch, some of more as exactly 11:32, time fast spent already. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK. It is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Again, gunmen attack Ebonyi Aga governor candidate and also shoot the driver. So this is coming, in the news coming right now. Again, yesterday, gunmen at about nighttime attacked the governorship candidate of the All Progressive Grand Alliance in Ebonyi State, Bernard Odo. His media aide Charles Otu, who confirmed the incident, said the candidate was returning from a campaign rally when they ran into the ambush at the rest house area along Enugu-Abakaliki Expressway. It was gathered that the gunmen opened fire, shot at the driver of the Sienna conveying Odo. So again, quite a lot of atrocity, a lot of unknown gunmen taking place in the part of the southeast as we speak today. We touch more on the election itself, and then we go straight. Election, 14 parties signed the peace accord in Ondo State. The vice president, the VP Clark says Okowa betrayed the South and the governor protests. BVS hardcore staff should be well checked. This is going to be a very important one for the INEC. A political think tank group, Abuja Social and Political Thought, says on Thursday that the Independent National Electoral Commission should ensure competent and integrity tests on all the hardcore staff to be deployed for the forthcoming election, while expressing fears that politicians would want to infiltrate the hardcore staff, least to use the workers to manipulate elections. The organization also stated the following is observation of the Osun State governorship election, the confusion that characterized the state some month later after as a result of poor handling of the Bimoda voter registration system. So we go straight to the social media and see, what is trending on the social media. Hashtag, quite a lot of the hashtag. The Northerner is trending. Likewise, Igbokwe, like I talked about, a very hard, hard supporter. Emsolomo is trending, and the reason why is the PDP are complaining that INEC should not allow the National Union of Road Transportation in the Southwest in the care of Emsolomo. Emsolomo is the chairman of the park management in Lagos State, and if INEC is going to be, using the motor park, to move INEC materials, remember that Emsolomo is a big follower and a supporter of the current APC government, not just in Lagos State, but also, Bola Tinubu as well. So it's actually trending at about 22,000 this morning. And the whole reason for that is Tinubu loyalists and Lagos Park Committee Chairman MC Oluomo write electoral body INEC to allow its transporter distribute election material. That is a flag there. And it seems that not a lot of people are probably pleased with such. Also, let's say one or more tweet coming out of there. APC is attacking Buhari because it won't allow them to rig the upcoming elections. Nigeria have suffered enough and will soon speak in a few weeks with their PVC. This is coming from Charles 9123. Also, there is a news coming as we go straight to the update from the Yoruba self-determination. As I was reading this morning, the current chairman, which is the not Professor Adebanjo Akintoye, but Professor Wale Adeniran, has released a new statement in regard to the allegation against him some 21 days ago, when 2 or 3 different media were actually putting allegation of different kind of atrocity around money and also. He has given 21 days that people should also, that should be investigated. And then it seems that after 21 days, there hasn't been any kind of investigation. I'm just trying to see if I can pull out. Yeah, I've got that story here in front of me. So this is the press statement that came out. Sometimes late December 2022, Professor Banji Akintoye, personal assistant, pulled out a 35-minute video in which he accused me of all imaginable crimes under the sun. The most serious being an allegation of financial impropriety. Others who made similar allegations against me include some members of Ilanomo Dudua and one Mr. Mayegun of Mayegun Diary. But just to bring it to closure, he has actually said that since 21 days, nobody has set up any kind of panel to probe such. He is also now saying under the public notice, I hereby state as follows also that with effect from today, Wednesday, 1st of February, I cease to be a member and also an officer of Ilano Omo Dudua. My decision to exit the organization is irrevocable, irreversible. However, I remain firmly committed to the Yoruba nation struggle for the self-determination. I hereby, with effect, which is from Wednesday, 1st of February, serve all connections and relationship with Professor Stephen Adebanjo Akintoye, the Alano and the chairman of Ilanomo Dudua. So to all the Yorubas and sons and daughters, I say, do not despair. It is not a time to be despondent. It is a time to come together to do a review, to engage in serious brainstorming, and to re-strategize within the context of a new structure organization that will all be inclusive and focused. So this is actually coming from, Professor Wale Adeniran, which we just received today. So now let's go straight to, what the Biafras are also releasing quite a lot of different press statements, coming from their spokesperson, Mazi Simon Ekpa. So we're going to take, one or two from the latest one that, was actually shared to the media, today, and likewise the ones that have been coming out in the last couple of days. So we take the first one, which says, just 1 minute. Biafra has rejected the British pound. It is official. So from the office of the spokesperson for the Biafra official press release, 3rd of February, after wide consultation and deliberation, the Biafra currency has officially been adopted. The general public and the international community are hereby notified that the Biafra official currency shall be called the Biafra dollar. The Biafra pound, which was initially the official currency of the Biafra nation, has been rejected. Our experience as a people in the hands of the British has been brutalized. So that is coming from, the spokesperson for the Biafra, Mazi Simon Ekpa, in the last couple of days as well. So also, Igbo is trending at about 14,500, and likewise, Mr. and Mrs. Ikoyi is trending. I'm not sure why, but remember that there was a money that was found some few years ago, called the Ikoyi Gate. Nobody knows the end result of that, but this is how a lot of money are moved out of Nigeria. So this is Star Radio UK. I will come back again to you now in the studio.
Well, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing you updates from Nigeria. Now, Yomi, first of all, let's go to Professor Wale's statement that he released. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. Now, who are now the executives? Who are remain when it comes to the executives of the Yoruba nation?
Well, I mean, Ilana Modudua is an organization of its own that have different, bodies around it. And we then also have the YSDM, which is the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, that is also consisting of almost 70 different groups to make up the YSDM. So Professor Wale Adeniran has been, the right-hand man of Professor Adebanji Akintoye since the last 3 years of the movement. So, a linguistic in French, and also someone that has been part of the movement. But because of a lot of, wrangling that is going on, and like he says there, it seems that maybe he's not pleased with some of the allegation against him, in December last year. It's not the first time that this kind of allegation came up, but when he actually came out to say that this should be investigated, but what we are now saying now is actually pulling out, as the chairman of Ilana Omo Odudua.
Okay, clear there. Now, let's move on to the Biafran official currency. Now, does that mean that currency is in circulation in the southeast?
Well, at the moment, I've not seen the currency yet, but from what I've read from that press statement says that it's still probably, maybe it's in the making, we don't know, but within the next few days and weeks, a lot of things will continue to be unveiled from the Biafra side, which is the indigenous people as well. But over 6 million of our people have been killed by the British government, according to these allies. So they are literally rejecting the British pound, but going with the Biafra dollar, which is going to be their official. Launch and the date of official circulation shall soon be made known to all Biafrans and international community.
Okay. Listeners, it is Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And let me say good morning to everyone who feel that they are being marginalized and they need to stand up for themselves. Aziz Badasari says, good morning, Brother Koiki, and good morning to you, Mr. Archie. Thank you for all your support, and thank you very much for being there to listen to us as well. We really, really appreciate you. Without you, there will be no point of us sitting here. But before we go, any rest happening on the social media platform, and then we can run up the conversation?
Well, we've talked about as many of what is happening. We'll take a look at again the weekend as we're going into the weekend. Let's continue to be very, very careful for those of us that will be traveling to different locations, especially with the fuel scarcity. The Naira note is becoming a problem. And if you're also going to the banking hall, probably maybe you should take a bit of more water, because you don't know how long you might be staying in there, so that you don't become so upset and removing all your clothes while in the banking hall.
And you might end up going home without the money as well, Okay, Yemi, have a wonderful weekend. We'll catch up later.
Bye for now.
Bye. Well, listeners, that has been Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing you updates from Nigeria. It is Star Radio UK. Let's say is Akintunde Odua. Yes, that is why we are never one Nigeria. He said there is more new note. That's what Akintunde was saying. That means that some part of the country have gotten notes, other part of the country has not. Well, what do you think? We're going to take a musical break, and once we come back, we'll continue. You know what? The Zongo man is asking the question, where is the dollar? Where is the Naira? The new notes, where are they? Where have they saved it? Enjoy this song, and I'll be with you. Stay tuned. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. As I did say, the technical team has gotten back to me and saying that, well, the program has to be brought to a close in the next 14 minutes, so I don't have the time. So we have to just quickly go on to some of the other stories making the rounds across the globe, and then we can bring the program to a close exactly at 12 o'clock for the technical upgrades to commence. My apologies, sincere apologies for that. Once I was bringing the music, they came to me saying that, ha. Well. So moving on straight to some other parts of the world. A pedophile former pop star Gary Glitter freed from jail after serving half of his 16-year sentence for abusing 3 schoolgirls. What is going to be the reaction from the general public? A suspected Chinese spy balloon tracked across the U.S. is one of the stories. The U.S. is tracking a suspected Chinese surveillance balloon that has been spotted flying over sensitive sites in recent days. Now, defense officials said they were confident the high-altitude surveillance balloon belonged to China. It was most recently seen above the western state of Montana. The military decided against shooting it down in case debris falls. Now, China warned against speculation and hype until the facts are verified. The object flew over Alaska, Aleutian Island, and through Canada before appearing over the city of Billings in Montana on Wednesday. U.S. officials have said. A senior defense official said government prepared fighter jets including F-22s in case the White House ordered the object to be shot down. Now, Canada said on Friday that it was monitoring a potential second incident involving a surveillance balloon, but did not say which country could be behind it. It said that the statement that it is working closely with the U.S. to safeguard Canada's sensitive information from foreign intelligence threats. So, well. Now, fly the balloon, and then let's see what happens there. Some of the stories making the rounds. Okay, a man has admitted treason charge over a Queen's threat. Now, Jaswant Singh Chow was caught with a loaded crossbow at Windsor Castle on Christmas Day 2021. And it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, trust to join campaign to put pressure on China. Well, the former Prime Minister will give a speech at the Conference of Global Politicians in Japan. Well, maybe she still got some vimp or in her. Now, Ms. Truss will address a conference of global politicians in Japan this month designed to coordinate the policies of democratic government towards Beijing. Now, since she resigned in October, Ms. Truss has kept a low profile, but recently her allies have formed a group to push her low tax agenda. Members of the Conservative Growth Group included former Minister Simon Clark and Ranil Jawadena, who both served in Mistra's cabinet. Mistras resigned after just 45 days in office following the economic turmoil of her mini budget. Well. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, Ukraine's hard army fights to keep power on through Russia strikes, and as they knock it down, they also do their best to put it back up. In Kenya, Willie Kimani, his client and driver were abducted, tortured, killed, and their bodies dumped in a river. So ex-policeman gets death for Kenyan lawyer's murder. Well. Interesting one there. Has the law caught up with him? We hope he's gotten dead, so we'll see what happens on that front. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We just got about another 10 minutes to bring the program to a close so that the technical team can take over. In Ohio, in the USA, a man had fatally been shot by police. He was cleaning out grandmother's home family. That's what family is saying. A man in Ohio had been fatally shot by police while his family said he was cleaning out his dead grandmother's apartment. Now, Joe Frazier was shot on Monday in the town of Wyoming and died in hospital on Tuesday. Now, police have said officers believe the 28-year-old was a burglary suspect and that he drove a van at them. However, his family has disputed the authorities' account and wants body cam footage of the incident to be released. Now, police have said that they arrived at a residence on Dura Avenue just after midnight on Monday following reports of possible burglary. There they found two men at the back of the house and said that Frazier didn't respond to the officer's commands and tried to flee in a minivan. It is unclear whether Frazier was in the van when officers arrived or got in afterwards. The minivan reversed at a high rate of speed before hitting a tree, at which point the vehicle accelerated rapidly, as our officers said, Wyoming Police Chief Brooke Brady. Now, she added that the police fired 4 shots at the van and Frazier was hit. The van then hit the building. Miss Brady said officers then pulled Frazier from the car and performed life-saving care on him before he was taken to hospital. The county coroner has listed Frazier's cause of death as a police-involved shooting. WLWT News has reported that one as well. But it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. All right then. Now let's move on to some other stories making the rounds this morning. Now, Israel says Sudan peace deal is to be signed. It's one of the stories there as well. And tried to open embassy in Israel after resuming the ties there as well. So Israel seems to be signing lots of peace treaties and ties with other people. But Iran is blaming Israel for drone attack, vowing a revenge. Let me bring you that one and then we'll move on. Well, Iran has blamed Israel for a drone attack on a military site in the central city of Isfahan on Saturday. Its ambassador to the UN said findings indicated Israel was responsible for this act of aggression. Now, Iran, he said, reserves the right to respond resolutely to any threats or wrongful actions by Israel. Israel has neither confirmed nor denied it was behind the attack, which Iran said caused minor damage, though this has not been independently verified. The two countries are arch foes and in recent years have been engaged in what has been described as a shadow of war of unclaimed attacks on each other's assets, infrastructure, and nationals. Well, this is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, still on the African front, 6 teachers arrested for forcing a student. Let me bring you that. A group of 6 teachers were arrested and suspended in Kenya on Thursday after a video of primary school pupils being forced to simulate sex as punishment caused an outcry. In a 29-second video that has gone viral, 4 boys in a school uniform simulate sex acts under a tree in the schoolyard as teachers watch. In the background, the 6 teachers can be heard chatting and laughing as shirtless child wipes tears from his face. Wow, 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 wow. That is beneath the belt. Okay. Now, one story from Ghana as well, and then we bring the program to a close. And this time around, wow. Jihadists may have infiltrated Boko, Upper East Regional Minister is saying. It's quite a scary one. The Upper East Regional Security Council has raised concerns that jihadists may have infiltrated the town of Boko, leading to an escalation of the conflict there. At least 6 people have been killed in recent days following a military operation in the area. The regional minister and chairman of the Security Council, Stephen Yakubu, says jihadists operating across the border next to Boko are a major concern. It is very sad that people have lost their lives. It is something that the council wants to know what happened. But I also want to say that these troubles in Boko are taking too long, he said. The security analyst and chief executive of the Security Warehouse Limited, Adam Bona, says the government must thoroughly probe the jihadist threat in Boko. These are the stories making the rounds across the globe today. And of course, as I would say, this is how far I can take you for today. But you know what? What I would say is that just have a wonderful weekend. Don't do anything that I will not do. Just stay cool and collected. And I can tell you that some way, somehow, things do pan out nicely. And with the help of God, I can tell you, some way or somehow we will get there as well. Enjoy this song from a cover version of Kojo Entry's song that says Midofupa, this time round by Joshua Ni. And I will see you all tomorrow. Ni Joshua Ni Ajete Ajay on Midofupa by the one and only Kojo Entry. Bye bye for now.
Solo 7.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.
Sorry and a pa, he won't find me. I don't feel my no, menya. Send my baby boy, as a rich already. What my was see me, menya wanted for froggy. But I won't come at the gym. But I won't come at she. I will come out the Son of dear, a brand new was here, a brand new was Susana winning Bancasao. Tintumbronier, I'll be being more being here. If I was a brand new Jimmy, so how do you wait? Midofupa wunyum nepwe, Midofupa wunyum nepwe. Oh, only one midnight. Oh, yeah. Oh, only one midnight.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.
Broadcast Broadcasting live online.
Only when it's your bucket in my away. If I was a better me come away, can't send the debit true me. Mammy won't save me. Me to a BSA, put it on my bed. Me to sue, I'm sorry. How do you way?